Hey everyone, sorry it's really early. I have no makeup on, but I do have my hair down, so there you go. I'm just suddenly so exhausted, but I caught up on RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 5, Episode 2. Before we get started, I want to say that I saw a video by Aja that, Asia O'Hara, and it really broke my heart, and so I'm not on Twitter, but you know, maybe reach out to her if you can. She was talking about how she hates the meet and greets because people ask her to step out. And I don't know, I just want to remind everyone that these are people. And so everything that I say, we are splitting hairs. And I am blown away by this season. But in general, when we are talking about RuPaul's Drag Race, we are talking about to make it to that cut is amazing. And if you're at these events, try to be polite. Even if it's not your favorite queen, be polite, appreciative, say something nice, just like you would if you were at a party. Hopefully you wouldn't just snub someone. But anyway, that is my little pep talk. It was this video. She talked about people asking her to step out of pictures in the meet and greet and how much that upsets her. And it's just a good reminder that these are, you know, that affects them, and they go home and they think no one likes me, and that's just not fair. And you know, Asia is by no means the only queen who has Kenny Davenport talked about it, a lot of them. And so I have never been to a drag queen event, but if I do, I'm going to make an effort to show all the performers, at least that I appreciate them, thank you, however that works, and always be really, you know, polite. Anyway, because we're all people. This season of All-Stars, to me, is unbelievable in the sense that I am just blown away. I didn't want to lose anyone. There was no one, and I feel like All-Stars has been kind of, I mean, Drag Race in general, let me do it this way, because it's always reversed. It's kind of been going like this. And it used to be, I feel like in the early seasons, where we would have a flop. And you would be like, ooh. And I don't just mean that that person is bad, but in terms of like, you know that that was not what they wanted to show. And I'm not saying that everyone here is doing their best, but no one is doing their worst. And it just blows me away because all of the outfits, like even the bottom performances were really amazing. I had to really watch the judges, what they were saying, to figure out who was in the top and the bottom, because it is such a strong All-Star season. And personally, I would be fine if we just kept having RuPaul's All-Star race and they just kept inviting back the people who left and giving them another shot and all that. So both Jujubee and Miss Cracker say that they voted, well, Jujubee said she voted for Mayhem. Miss Cracker opened her mouth and said that she would have voted for Angina. I'm really bummed that Miss Cracker is one of my favorite. I said that before, and she's really getting the villain in it, and she's really putting her foot in it. Now, as someone else who has anxiety, and that their anxiety causes them to constantly yap their mouth, hence me having a channel, constantly yap their mouth, I feel for her in that sense. Not to say that she should be excused from all that, but when you work on your own schedule, like I do and Miss Cracker do and all these drag queens do, you can really manage your anxiety really well. And I've even told my husband, I don't think I have a general anxiety. I don't think I have depression and ADD anymore. And then we go to an environment where I don't have control and I'm like, oh, I can't stop talking, I can't stop expressing every thought I have, I can't control my panic, and I go, oh, I've just gotten really good over the years at learning how to manage it. And so I feel for these drag queens who have had their own solo career, they all do, and then they come back to this environment and they go, oh, all of my mechanisms for coping are gone. I can't take the day off and go for a walk. I've got to stay here. I'm on camera and I'm expected to sit and talk, whereas you might, in real life, shut your mouth, put down your phone, leave. You can't do that there, because that's the purpose of a lot of these times is like, okay, so everyone sit in the workroom and discuss yesterday's voting. So I am not giving her a pass saying that, oh no, she did nothing wrong. I'm just kind of going, oh, maybe some of us with mouths that won't shut up, maybe we shouldn't be in a workroom. And which makes me rethink all of my designs to ever have a reality show, which no one's offering me anyway. So this is such a strong season. Everyone is so gorgeous. Everyone is so lovable. Everyone has fans and a career. It's crazy. So India 1 gets to pick her two biggest competitors. Shay, absolutely biggest competitor. I cannot get over how good Shea Coulee looks. They all look amazing. For Shea to be standing out for me is just like, it's just mind-blowing that she is so strong. And then Blair. I like Blair. I would have picked Jujubee. I think Jujubee, such a fierce reader, such a great voice, and is so like cool. Like everything Jujubee does is just so cool. But there's other people I would have picked. I mean, I don't think anyone would be a bad choice, but that would have been my pick. But anyway, Blair is very strong. So they're broken up, and then, of course, those are the team leaders. And so India picks Jujubee. Shea picks Mariah. Blair picks Cracker. I think it's actually the reverse order, or close to reverse. Then Blair picks Mayhem, India, Alexis, and Shea Angina. Oh, and I didn't realize this, which is Blair picked Cracker and Mayhem partnered with Cracker before and lost on that challenge because Cracker kind of ran her over. I didn't remember that. Mayhem most certainly did, and that definitely came to be. I think working in teams is particularly hard, especially in a career where, in general, you're solo work. I mean, I know they do group numbers, but they all have their own thing and big personalities. How many times have we heard that? Anyway, they're going to do crushes. I personally like the verses that were a little bit more silly. Mr. Rogers, things like that. I would have picked Bill Hader. Don't tell my husband, but or no, actually, you know who I would have picked. This is true. This is my very first crush. Was David Bowie in Labyrinth as the Goblin King. I challenge you to find another weird person around my age who's attracted to men who didn't have at least some feelings, who like watched weird, crazy stuff, who doesn't have some feelings about the Goblin King. I found that to be incredibly, incredibly common. So discuss in the comments if anybody else has feelings about David Bowie as the Goblin King. And it's crazy, if you rewatch it as an adult, you're like, those pants are insane. And they said that, yeah, they knew that those pants were insane and they did it anyway. And it's like, what was going on in the early 80s? Anyway, sorry, that is my own little sidestep. Okay, so we have, I thought all of the verses were pretty good. I thought if we only saw the performance, I didn't really know who they were going to pick. I didn't, I thought all the verses sounded good. Angina really struggled getting the performance out there. But once it came to the performance, I did not see. Now, I don't have an eye for choreography and I don't have an ear for music unless you are way off. Blair was way off in the first rendition. I wrote awful, and then after that I was fine. Oh, and then I thought it was weird because Blair also, the guy in charge, was giving her feedback and she just kept talking over him. But then she was good. So it was kind of like this moot point where you were like, oh, Blair's going to really screw up. Oh, she's fine. Never mind then. Okay. Crystal does Sylvester Stallone. Funny note here. This is when I used to live in LA, I got hit on by Frank Stallone as he described it. He is also a celebrity like his brother because apparently he had a big rock band in Germany. And he gave me his phone number and said if I ever wanted to go shoot archery with him, just to give him a call. I was young and cute once. So anyway, and I am absolutely positive that Frank Stallone gave his number to everyone. I was 22, possibly 23 at the time. Possibly 23, but I think I was 22. And I was still going to college, and he was 45, I'm guessing, maybe older. Looked a lot like his brother. Anyway, Alexis does Daddy Yankee, who I had to look up. Jujubee is John Stamos. India is Justin Timberlake. Shea was Black Panther. I couldn't write down his name fast enough. I was watching this in the dark, hiding from my family. Angina was Henry Cavill. Everybody pointed out that he should have done Henry Cavill in The Witcher, which I haven't seen. And then Alexis is Jason Momoa. Didn't remember what movie he was in. I thought they all killed. I thought all the lines were funny. I found the ones that were funniest. I agree with them. I thought Jujubee was hilarious. Shea is just killing it. anxiety can make your life difficult, cracker. That's my nose. I wasn't crazy about Blair's outfit because I feel like if you're going to have a harness, it needs to fit. It needs to be fitted. And if it can't be fitted, it like swam around her more like a cage, but like a loose cage. I wasn't crazy about that. I'm also not crazy, and I've said this before, this is my own personal bias about drag. I'm not crazy about boy chest, even if it's covered. I feel like, I don't know. That's just my thing. I'm not going to kick someone off a show or say it's a bad outfit because it doesn't have any chest, but I always find it distracting when there's no chest, because even super, super thin women have some structure that disrupts the chest rib cage. So I found it a little but I think it was less about the boy chest and it was more about the harness being so loose. Now I understand that maybe the harness has to be that loose so she can dance, in which case maybe use an elastic material. I don't know. I'm certainly no expert on harnesses. So that was literally the only thing that I noticed. They're doing a skin themed. So I was thinking that meant skin as in exposed skin, but it was more like skin tone, like glorifying skin tone. I loved it. I thought everyone's outfits were amazing. Of course, Shea came out the runway and it was like, oh! And I realized, for the first time I made a connection with one of my favorite all-time queens, which is Raja, who did high fashion, but with a really strong point of view. And we saw that with Shea, where it was high fashion with a strong point of view. I loved everything about it. I personally, no one mentioned it, died for the freckles across here. I love freckles. I love, love, love freckles. And you almost never see them because any sort of coverage makeup hides them. So I love them being added back. I love the white highlights, which were over the eyebrows, around the lips, down the center of the nose. I think there was a few others, but they danced this line between using it as shading and contouring. Definitely contributed to that, and being reminiscent of traditional African painting techniques. And so it was this marriage where the combination was stronger than, I wouldn't say stronger than them separately, but to where they married in a way where you said, I found myself saying, now is that white a drag queen choice or is that an interpretation of this? And I thought, I don't care. I love it. I love it. I love it. Lips that people would kill for. I mean, just so stunning. So I had mentioned before in the thing that I don't really remember Sasha and Shea Couleé's season very well. I had a friend who was talking to me and was like, this is my favorite season. And I'm like, it's all kind of fuzzy to me. We had some really rough years in there. We had pregnancy loss, we had infertility problems, we had family problems, all this kind of stuff. And so some periods of my life are a little fuzzier. And I think that was one. I love Sasha, but I always felt like I should love Sasha more because she's so intellectual. Than I think I really did. I get why she won, but anyway, and I'm remembering what a powerhouse Shea Couleé is. I know I'm mispronouncing her name because I have a problem reading, so I see S-H-E-A and want to say Shea instead of Shea Couleé. But anyway, I apologize for that. So strong. In a field of strong competitors, she is standing out. So I'm going to say that. I personally couldn't put high and low on anyone. I guess that Angina was low because I felt like one of the things, so Angina was in her season considered a bald queen. So what I'm finding difficult is that when she does put on hair, it feels like there's a disconnect from her bald looks. And I don't know whether that's just my expectation saying she's supposed to be bald, or whether the particular wigs she's using are such a far departure from her typical look that I'm not seeing a lot of cohesion. I don't know if it's that. For me, it was, there was all this blither blather about who should go home. For me, I'm sorry, I know this is really the report card. I just come back to who, I don't feel that India should go home after losing unless she is so obviously low this week that you cannot deny it. I think Mariah is so beautiful, so pretty. But I felt like Angina had 2 rough weeks in a row. For me, it's kind of a given. I did not see her statement as giving up. What I saw was just her being acknowledging where she's like, I think mine was the weakest performance. And I don't want to pull some, I'm sorry, Roxy Andrews, where people keep me based on personality, because I think that's what she was saying. A bunch of people took it as like she was quitting. Maybe that's the case. I feel bad for Angina. Angina's a great drag queen. It is tough to get your footing on a competition. So those of you who don't know, I don't know why you would. I'm a sports psychologist. I have studied sports psychology. I cannot call myself a sports psychologist because my degree is not in psychology. So there's some rules around that. But I have a master's degree in kinesiology with an emphasis in coaching and sports psychology. Performance enhancement sports psychology. It is incredibly important. It is incredibly common for athletes to go in, have a good day of competition, and then to say the next day, I'm going to change the things I did wrong and I will perform even better. And they get these outsized expectations. And I think coming back to All Stars is very similar. You think, these are the mistakes I made before. I know them, so I'm going to do even better this time. And if you do not immediately do better than you did last time, there can be a sense of, sorry, my camera's kind of being weird. Can you see that every time I move my hand? The color on my face changes. Sorry, maybe it's just me. Maybe you won't see it. But anyway, I think a lot of people come into All Stars with expectations that are outsized for reality, and those can be your biggest hang-ups, even over the competition. I think Angina just, maybe because it's been so long, maybe because she wanted to do it for so long that it built up expectations that she was unable to live to. I don't know. I just feel like Angina went home because we didn't get to see how amazing she was, not because she's a bad drag queen. And that, I think, will be something that'll repeat throughout the competition. We're going to see people who trip up once and go home. We're going to see people who had some external factor throw them off course. We're going to see someone who gets in their head. I think that's what we're going to, I think we see that in almost all drag race, but I feel like with All Stars it's going to be even more so. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now Shea Coulee is pulling ahead of the pack in a meaningful way. I would also say Jujubee. I love Jujubee so much. I have loved Jujubee since Jujubee's season. That is all I'm going to say for now. That is not to say they're the only strong competitors. They are just the ones that I, as of the first 2 episodes, feel confident in saying, this is anyone's race. This is anyone's game. So hit me up. Tell me how you're feeling, who you're seeing, who you're excited about, who's beautiful, who's wonderful, who you love. Let's give some love to the queens. Okay? Bye.